Leanne, before we get started today on the Snarkcast, I just want to run something by you real quick. I mean, I don't want to get into it really, but maybe you can help me a little bit.
Sure. What?
Oh, well, I'm sort of having this moral crisis, and it has to do with my job, and I just don't know what to do. And you know what? I really shouldn't confide in you. I'm going to call my local mob boss because he's very good at giving advice. So I'm sorry to bother you about this. Well, I guess it can wait till after the Snarkcast. I'll call him right afterwards. Okay, we're back. Crisis averted. I went and threw a couple of axes, talked it out with my local mob boss. I'm fine. How are you, Mama Snark?
I am great. Okay, so before we get started, we should tell everyone this is Thursday, November 6th. And we usually record...
It's a short week for us.
So we don't know what's happened on the Thursday episode or the Friday episode. So if we say things that sound stupid, it's because we don't know. Or because we just say stupid things because we
can't predict the future, and these writers are not predictable. And I don't mean that as a compliment necessarily. But anyway, this is Mama Snark. I'm Snark Jr., a.k.a. David. I'm a writer, director, and producer based in New York. And all the way across the country is Mama Snark. Introduce yourself.
I'm Leanne Bremer. I am an old lady. And I have spent my career being a marketer and a writer and a designer and a developer and all the things. But somehow I have found myself here whining every week to this wonderful man about the show that we love, General Hospital.
Yeah, so. Most famously, yes. Our epitaphs will read. Forget about all our life's accomplishments. The epitaphs will read General Hospital Snarkers. We're everywhere these days, it seems. We're on Facebook, X, Twitter, Substack, YouTube, Spotify, all the places you find podcasts and Snarkcasts and everything else. So like and subscribe, and please comment. We love comments. We always want to make this better if we can. So take it away, Leanne. What are we going to talk about this week?
Okay, so we're going to start off with a snarky plot whisper. I read this comment yesterday, and actually it's not the first time I've read a comment similar to this. So I just want to start with this. Jacinda is Jax's daughter. Jacinda Jax, Jocelyn Jax, Juicy Jen's Jax. We're all doing the J's things here. So,
and you're thinking like co-head writer Chris Von Etten, because if he can attach a character to another character, he will.
He should have been a genealogist in another life, just connecting everybody up together, because when I read that comment, that's exactly what I thought, which is, are you in Chris Van Etten's brain?
Exactly. That wouldn't be the most horrible thing in the world. What I'm scared of is what I dub Pikeman 2025, because I don't want masks to figure into this plot line. I don't want brains separated from bodies and put into other bodies.
Or jars.
Don't want to see jars. I don't want to see Cesar come back. I don't want to see any of this. So please, GH, if you've not thought this plot out, please start thinking about it.
It's interesting you bring this up, because there was a comment on the page this morning of a plot whisper that Anna was nabbed not by Faison, because Faison's dead, right? But by Nathan, who has the brain thing. So sorry, David, I think you're not going to win that one.
So now we're going to do brainwashing would be acceptable. I'll accept that. I just figured, it was time for Finola Hughes' annual vacation. And so they always just snatch her away when it's time for her to take a break. Doesn't matter if it has anything to do with the plot. Who knows? Yeah, maybe Nathan's angry because James ignored him so much. So he took it out on Anna.
Well, okay, the only time we've really gotten any indication that Nathan is not Nathan was when the first time he went to Anna's office to get his job back. and he hugged Anna at the scene, and the camera captured the expression on Nathan's face, and it was slightly
like
nefarious.
knowing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever. Knowing and nefarious.
Yeah, all those things. So, but on the other hand, we have happy daddy Nathan and bonding with James and bonding with Spinelli and bonding with everyone. So I don't know.
Well, I was going to say Nathan's return, because I like to always rate the returns, has been kind of boring till now. And again, I think that's lack of planning on the writer's part. They don't quite know what to do, because we haven't seen Britt's been chugging along since she's been back, and everything's made sense so far. But we got to wonder now, once again, GH doing the Pikeman plotline over again is hinting at there's another baddie out there, and he or she, and remember the last time we did this, the big boss, she turned into a he. Yeah, they're hinting there's another baddie out there. One of the biggest mistakes GH has done and I always clump the times together, like, before Carlavati, and then the spinning carousel of writers we've had since, including our Path to Nonsense and Alt Van Etten, as we've dubbed them. They killed off too many villains. They killed off Helena Cassadine. They killed off
the best
Faison.
villain.
Right. They've killed off their villains. So now they're like stuck because there really isn't. I don't equate Sidwell with Helena Cassadine or Faison. I don't
not
equate
yet.
Valentine.
Yeah. Oh, well, definitely not Valentine. Yeah, but I think Sidwell, because he's a new character and they're having to create a villain from scratch, so to speak. I think we did see the movement this week, at least in the Pikeman 2025 storyline, that we know that Sidwell is the one providing Britt's medicine. That they haven't really figured it all out, because remember when she was given the package with the medicine, there was a note there and it was signed C.
Because we're going to promote the hell out of this. The 10th annual, 10 years we've been doing the Snark Awards. The 10th annual Snark Awards will have a Pikeman plotline category. What is the 2025 Pikeman storyline? And it's this. We should also do a Man Landers storyline, just something that's so stupid and ridiculous.
The dumbest storyline.
The dumbest plotline.
But in spite of all our talking about how GH stories never end, we are actually witnessing one actually ending and wrapping up. We are getting to see the Tracy, Ronnie, Monica, Will story come to an end. There is something very refreshing about being able to take a deep breath at the end of a story and go, okay, we figured this one out. Now what's next? But instead, what we've had over the years is these layerings of things, and we lose the plot and we don't know what's going on.
Like the Jagger is shot and killed by Sonny plot line, which just sort of...
They just flushed that baby right down the plot toilet and said, we're just going to ignore it.
You would figure that murder would play into the Drew murder. Where characters are reminding, well, Dad, you're the one who shot and killed Jagger, because Michael saw it. No, it's just, it's wiped from our collective memories. And speaking of murders, if you were to tune into General Hospital this week, you wouldn't know that there's a murder mystery going on.
No.
Because it's not going on. I just hate how they compartmentalize things. Did you notice it was like Monday, Tuesday, we're still on the wrapping up the Ronnie storyline. And the only reason we're wrapping it up is because Erika Slezak has a beginning, middle, and end to being on this show. So kudos to them. Overall, I'm not upset about it. I didn't like it when it first started. I'm not upset how they did it. It was just sort of a ruffle to get to the end point, which is Tracy got the house. And were you happy with that decision?
Yes. And also it also did one more thing, and that is it enabled Geo to come back in to the Q fold without as much drama and angst as we've had to experience over the last year or whenever.
And I'll jump ahead a little bit because that was going to be my point with my character of the week, which is Geo. Geo has been, there we go, Jinx, once again, we agree. Geo has been consistently written since day one.
Mm-hmm.
There's not been a misstep. He's not acted out of character. It kind of makes sense that this would be the thing that sort of drives him back towards the Quartermaines. I love the scenes with Tracy and him yesterday. I love those scenes because
I've loved
he's
every scene. Yeah, with Tracy and Geo, even from the beginning, those two have chemistry in a good way.
And he doesn't let her get away with any BS.
Right.
I mean, she calls out people, but he also calls her out, but in a kinder, gentler way. And so we'll see everybody come back to the mansion. People who may not understand, well, what's acting out of character? All right. So, for example, Olivia telling Tracy she can't live in the Metro Court. Now, yes, it was a plot point to get Tracy to have the comic scenes bunking in with Lulu and all that. And that was great. But there could have been a way to do that would have made more sense. Like maybe even Tracy saying, I'm not even going to stay in your hotel.
That would have made more sense.
One line.
Yeah.
One line would have done it. But this is what happens when you write a show by committee. General Hospital, since Ron Carlivati left in 2015, has had co-head writers. I'm not convinced that is the way to go on a soap opera. You need a head writer who has a clear vision of what they want to do. No matter what you say about Ron Carlivati, dumb as some of the plots are and everything, and Alan Serapa has said this in his column, sometimes the plots meander, but you always know it's going somewhere. You're not ever wondering with a Ron Carlivati plot, like, where's this going? I don't get this. How does this fit in? It will all make sense later. And like I said, Alan Serapa has said, Ron always sticks the landing. He always knows how to wrap up a plot, and it's satisfying. These co-head writer teams, all I see is it's like there are different visions going on for this show, and I don't know which to watch. And the only thing that they have done really a stellar job of this year has been Monica's death and the whole
I think
aftermath.
What it has happened is that they're constantly changing horses in the middle of a stream. Right? They'll it's like one of them starts a story and then the other one takes over, but it goes off into left field and you have no idea what's going on. Now, we don't know how the writer's room works at GH. We talk about the writers a lot. We understand there are many different roles and people who do different things to put all this together. And we do whine about the head writers because they, like you said, they set the vision, they set the tone, they set the direction. They are the big writers writing. I'm going to use an analogy, which may lose people, but when you talk about someone like John Williams, who is a movie composer, we know the Star Wars theme, we know all that. Okay, think of John Williams as the head writer. He's writing the major themes. He's writing the major musical movements through this, but he has a team of hundreds of people who are orchestrating and developing and expanding what he does. But it's all based on John Williams' musical vision. Now, take General Hospital. That would be like having John Williams and some other composer up here going, well, I think we should do this Star Wars theme. No, I really like this one. I mean, that doesn't work. It doesn't work.
You really have to be... Well, this is probably why everybody says you and I should be writing the show, because we are usually in sync on just about everything.
Yeah, but I don't want that responsibility.
No, I don't either. I don't want to have to deal with Frank and him foisting his actor friends on me for a role.
And I don't want to have to come in and clean up what's going on now. I mean, we would be tasked with figuring out what to do with Drew.
Well,
I don't want to deal with that.
You follow the Ron Carlivati rule of taking over as a head writer. You get rid of all the plots in about a week and just start new ones. Because that's what he did.
We ripped Drew's mask off, and he really is Shiloh.
if you remember, there was a character on there, I think he was a psychiatrist like Kevin, and within a week he turned evil. Because Ron's like, no, get rid of him. He's making him evil.
So fast.
Connie had her altar so that we could, do all that. I mean, he got right to work. Robin blew up in an explosion, but she didn't really blow up. She was kidnapped by Liesel Obrecht. I mean, he got right to work. He rolled up his sleeves. If you remember, Jerry Jacks poisoned the water supply in Port Charles. So he wrote that that was his first big umbrella story. And that was great. That went on for weeks, and we did capers. They were on locations. There were shootouts at warehouses. It was great. And that was also the last appearance of Edward Quartermain, because he gave up his dosage to give to Emma.
That's right.
That was great. That was great storytelling.
That's when I plugged back into General Hospital, and it was just right after Ron that I started this page. So yes, obviously Ron Carlovati's plots are what inspired General Hospital Snark.
Well, admittedly, when they were all ripping off masks, and it was fun for a while, but then it was just like, okay, enough. And so this week I was, flipping around YouTube, and somebody just posted a bunch of Days of Our Lives episodes from like 1992 to 1994. I plugged back into Days around 1994. And I got to say, from 1992 on, when James Riley, who also created Passions, wrote the show, he's another in the Ron Carlovati vein. He had really absurdist plots. That's when Marlena was possessed by the devil and everything. But you know what? You watch that show today and it works. It moves fast. Everything clicks. I can tune into a random All My Children or a One Life to Live, and you're like, oh, this is slow. Oh, where are they going with this? But not that. And I mean, that's what really brought General Hospital back to prominence, was the Ron Carlovati years, because he kept it exciting. Now, again, it's a soap opera. There are going to be slow days, of course. I've only felt momentum with certain storylines. Obviously, this whole Quartermain mess one being one of them, because it had, like I said, a beginning, middle, and end. I don't feel the urgency in other stories. So when they get to Wednesday's episode and all of a sudden everybody who was in the first 2 episodes of the week is gone except for Gio and Tracy and Sunny, and it feels like it's all new plot lines, we got to pick these back up.
That's exactly what happened. I was thinking about that this week. So what stories had movement? We had the movement in the Drew shooting was basically just Sunny telling Justine Turner not to take the case. That was basically it so far. Now, remember, it's Thursday. We've only seen 3 episodes, so just keep that in mind. We have Gio having his Cupiphany that he's really a Quartermain, and with Emma, and that's good. And then he was able to move and do the Tracy thing and wrap up that storyline. Great. And then we have the shrieking harpies going at one another, one pregnant, one not pregnant. I'm sorry, both of those women and Curtis can just go off to the character closet in the Bahamas and have themselves a nice long vacay, as far as I'm concerned. That was
and they're not
fun.
writing it. They're not writing it well. I mean, Nina and Carly had some reasons to keep going at each other, but as we saw, they just kept going back to the well, back to the well, back to the well. With Portia and Jordan, I don't feel they go far enough. Jordan is the type of character that would kick Portia out of her apartment as soon as possible.
Yes. So back Portia's to writing out of character, right?
Right. Portia's the kind of character who would start hair pulling and wrestling among the furniture. I kept waiting for that. And it was just like too polite.
Didn't we talk about this either last week or the week before? The fact that they are quibbling with Portia, meaning they are not letting her go fully in. She's a villain. She's done bad things, but we're still supposed to have sympathy for her. I'm sorry, at this point, she is fully in the villain category as far as I'm concerned. I don't care about her. I don't care about her relationship with Isaiah. I don't care about her fight with Portia. And I really don't care about her relationship to Curtis. Now, Trina's floating in there somewhere. And frankly, they've ruined all these characters. And that is not a good look, General Hospital. You have only one set of African-American characters and you ruin all of them. Not okay.
Yeah, so and they're all stuck together in the same plot. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, Jordan's the only one Jordan's watered down, but she's the only one not really compromised in this storyline. Curtis, I'm done with him. He's the waffler. You know,
He
oh, I
is
love
such a
you. No,
waffler.
now I love you. No, now it's ridiculous. I mean, and it was funny when people on the page are saying Hat Daddy had good advice. This is how far we have fallen. When Hat Daddy comes along and gives his advice. Somebody said
That
this
was
week.
no. So just a little behind the scenes thing. So Tuesday night, Tuesday was the episode where Hat Daddy showed up. I had rehearsal that night, so I didn't even get home and watch until 10:30 Pacific time. And he is in the East Coast, and I'm like, oh, he doesn't know that Hat Daddy was on. So here I am at 11 p.m. Pacific time, texting David and going, Hat Daddy's on.
Which I knew. I did watch it that day. I think I'm still burnt by the fact that they, Jordan and Duke, Portia's brother, if we all remember him, were a hot item.
Zeke.
I'm down
He
south
was wearing
right
a Duke mask.
He was wearing a Duke. Zeke, thank you. Way back, Jordan and Andre Maddox, remember Dr. Andre Maddox, were a big hot thing. And of course, her and Isaiah. I don't see that chemistry with Curtis that she has with just about everybody else.
She has more chemistry with Sidwell than she does with Curtis at this point.
Yes. Yeah.
And is she still working for Sidwell? We don't ever see her doing anything.
She hasn't found anything, but she likes working for him because she's got that boss apartment now. We've still got plot lines out there. The whole Sunny Justine thing.
Well, Dalton,
for the most part,
we still don't know. Dalton had an appearance.
Again, it's whatever writer in the writer's room said something funny and they went, let's go with that. What if Dalton double-crossed Sidwell? Dalton, who's had like 9 appearances in 4 months.
Right,
it's like...
At least he's got clothes on now, and we don't have to worry about an accidental Metro Court pool appearance.
Again, the Scooby-Doo gang, which that goes nowhere.
Okay, so let's do another little General Hospital science moment. Okay. Animal testing and cold fusion do not happen at the same time. There is no corollary between these two events whatsoever. So I don't know where they're going with this.
It's like Emma and Gio and all those people are in a plot line that's supposed to be on another show. I pointed this up the other day. They've been talking about breaking into his office since May, and we haven't done it. And now it kind of feels like it's too late. Or breaking into his lab, not his office. But you know what I mean. And now it feels like it's too late because like Britt's taken over the lab. So it's like,
once again,
it's
where is Sam and her Post-it notes when we need her? Because she's the only one who would be able to keep track of everything.
I was very happy I was very happy for a couple of things. They acknowledged Maxie's birthday.
Yeah.
I can't believe it's like November 6th and it's still Halloween, but
yeah, Halloween's been 5 days episodes. Yeah.
Which means election day is going to be the next thing. They acknowledge Sam's death. But those scenes with Scout were just, they don't write Scout properly. They write Scout like, not even like she's Violet, but they write Scout as if she were, they always wrote Violet younger. Like, oh, Daddy, I can't wait to go, And I feel like they're doing that with Scout. Scout's supposed to be like, what, 9, 10, 11 now?
Yeah, so she's my grandchildren's age.
Okay.
And let me tell you, those are kids who are not talking like her. They are They are much older than they write her. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
I'm going to have this candy because it reminds me of Mommy. It's like,
well,
what?
Yes, but at least we got to see Scout. At least we get to hear that she exists. As many people pointed out, yeah, we celebrated Maxie's birthday, but where were her other 2 kids? Where was Georgie?
Right.
Where was Bailey Lou? We don't know.
That was a funny moment when they all left the quarter mansion. I'm like, are you going to bring Leo and Wiley and Amelia with you, or
no?
Are they...
We're just leaving the kids up in the closet in the nursery. Well, there are cameras in there. They can watch what's going on. It's not.
Well, there you go. There you go. One of the things I was thinking of, because when I'm bored, I start to think of like, what I would do if I were writing the show, or why is this not addressed? How come in this whole Sam thing, we never see Lucas? He's Scout's uncle. He's Danny's uncle. He's never around. It's like he and Sam never existed in the same world. They're brother and sister.
This is the problem. We want everyone to be related, and yet it makes everything too confusing, and it requires too many people in one room. I mean, theoretically, you're right. When the Qs walked out, all the kids should have been trailing after them. That scene should have taken 20 or 30 minutes of everyone just leaving or finding them in the house.
And most importantly, in that exodus, did she kick out Yuri as well?
Oh,
we don't know.
We don't know. Yuri is MIA. He's down at the
floater. All the best to Cyrus Hobby. He's doing movies and commercials and everything, but I do miss Yuri every once in a while. I mean, they mention him, but I always miss him. Anyway, I got a soap recommendation for this week.
I was just going to ask you, David, do you have a soap recommendation for us this week?
I do. Before I give the soap recommendation for the week, I just want to give a shout out to Tom Lasante, who I've touted his Ryan's Hope book on here, but I started reading his book about the soap opera Texas, which was on a much shorter time. The book is just as thick as the Ryan's Hope book. But again, what I like about his writing is he puts everything into context. Like he did with the Ryan's Hope book, he lets you know, like, these were the storylines that were going on when this was happening. These were the contracts of the actors when this was happening. So you always know time and place, where you are. You know, here's what the world was going through in 1982, and it was reflected on the show this way. So shout out to Tom. Great book, Texas, by the way, which I recommended a few weeks ago. I recommend this week, our own dear Cynthia Watros is in this show. Ooh. Lost, one of the most acclaimed series of all time. Did you ever watch it?
I watched the first 2 or 3 seasons.
Okay.
But that was a long time ago in a whole nother life for me. But it's funny because, I watch The Big Bang Theory all the time. They always make fun of Lost. In fact, there's one line where Sheldon says something like, yeah, they were talking about shows that had been canceled that they were sad about. And he was like, yeah, and Lost just kept getting worse. So we didn't care when it got canceled.
Well, there was a reason it got worse. You can compare it a lot to General Hospital. Lost it's considered one of the greatest series of all time. First of all, let's get that out of the way. It made stars of it. Well, Michael Fox, not Michael J. Fox from Back to the Future, but Michael Fox from Party of Five. He was already a star from that show, but he went into the stratosphere with Lost because he's clearly the lead, even though it was an ensemble show. But it does mirror General Hospital and most soap operas, as there were continuing storylines. It's all about a plane crash on a deserted island, or they think it's deserted, and following these characters over years. And the unique thing about Lost was during usually each episode focused on a certain character, and something was happening on the island, and it would be, and you would wonder, like, why is this character acting the way they are? Well, during the episode, they would flash back to that character's life prior to the plane crash.
And this was one of the first TV shows that did this. I remember thinking when I was watching it, wow, we're seeing a different kind of storytelling on television. There's a maturity here, this show, compared to what we had previously gotten.
And in later seasons, they even flashed forward to life after them getting off the island. So it was a very interesting character study. And again, it was very well thought out. What I think did Lost in was greed, which does in most shows. ABC wanted to stretch it out. The creators of Lost were like, okay, we have beginning, middle, end. We know where we're going, blah, blah, blah. And then ABC said, oh, no, we just renewed you for 2 more seasons. Got to stretch it out. So then Lost sort of fell victim to what General Hospital does a lot. Oh, well, now we have to extend the story. We have to keep the story going. And what was frustrating to me watching it was they would introduce all these elements into the plot, and then they would resolve some of them, but not all of them. and then they would move on and introduce a whole bunch of new things. So it's sort of started to get hard to follow after a while, and you really had to pay attention and sort of connect the dots. It's still a great watch. Daniel Day Kim, who I just worked for on the series Butterfly, and his co-star in the show, they are considered the greatest love story on television of all time. At the beginning of the show, they're sort of estranged as a couple.
Mm-hmm.
And by the end of the show, they are completely in love, and they both make the ultimate sacrifice for the other character. And there are a lot of lovely things about the show. So again, I know I recommend a lot of these shows that have a lot of time commitments, but it really is a fast watch. It's a show that does keep moving, even when it gets a little absurd and a little overly complicated character. So check it out if you can. It's streaming on most streaming platforms.
I didn't get a new text message from Wicked Stepmother, but we do have a fact check. So last week, she said in her text, I'm going to quote the Bard, and she said, "What a tangled web we weave." And one of our Snarkies on YouTube, Catherine, wrote, and she said, it's not the Bard. It's Sir Walter Scott. She says, it's a mistake made by many because it does sound like something Shakespeare would write. And I sent that to Nina, and she said, oops, sorry, Bard. Sir Walter is the author of the quote. I sit corrected. Because she was sitting down, obviously. So there you go. Right. We are different from other General Hospital pages because we do fact check.
We do try to do our research.
Yeah, a little bit.
Anyway, that's going to do it for us for this week. It's a short week. There'll be no recap this week because I'm flying out of town once again. There's plenty of sites you can catch up on that. But I'll be back next week with a recap. And we'll be back next week with our little Snark chat. In the meantime, like, follow, subscribe, whatever you want. It's all free. We do have paid subscriptions. We have a patrons page, which is $5 a month, cheap, and you get to be part of a great community. They are some of the funniest people. They've got great conversations going. They talk about the show every night. They do their own recaps, and occasionally do. And they're
besties. They are besties. They've got this whole chat thing going, and they're deeply involved in one another's lives. It's like I created a cult, and I didn't mean to. I'm sorry.
It's the cult of personality, though, so it's okay. And also, too, you can be a paid subscriber of Substack, and we promise you more content. We've got some interviews lined up the next couple months. We just got to schedule them. So stay tuned. Yes. And we will see you next week.